Well, hello, Dawn. Welcome to the show. How does it feel to be Dawn today?
That's an interesting question. It feels great. It feels good every day. I am living in a off-grid wilderness area now, and every day I wake up, the air is clear. There's no noise pollution. It's beautiful. We had deer in our front yard, and I just feel so healthy.
Please let everybody know a little bit about your medical background, where you started and where you're at now.
Sure. So I am an anesthesiologist, and my current work situation is one that really does involve location and time freedom, which are very important to me. I work as what they call a locum tenens or per diem physician. So that means that I travel to my work locations, which is what allows me to live in the wilderness as I am desiring to do so. But I can travel to other hospitals that are in need of having extra physicians do their anesthesiology for their surgeries. And I do this part-time. And I am in a position where we would call ourselves financially independent. So my work is optional. And I work typically about 1 week a month, sometimes 2 weeks a month clinically. And then I have a non-clinical arm of what I do, which is speaking, writing, coaching other physicians and professionals in the work-life balance area. And my background is that I actually was a chemical engineer before I went to medical school. I started out doing jobs in engineering and then decided that I wanted something more service-oriented.
The question I was leading into there, Dawn, was, are you on your freedom path where you're at currently, living happily? Are you able to provide that same platform that you were provided to get your daughter to where she would want to go? If she wants to go the intense journey of being a chemical engineer and then an anesthesiologist, are you able to do that and live a more simple lifestyle now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I hope that we're doing the right things. I mean, you never really know. I am doing things differently than my parents did, for sure. However, I really think that we're living a life of close connection with her. We homeschool. She has a lot of opportunities to learn things on her own pace and whatever it is that she's interested in.
And the piece of freedom that is out there and kind of links back into the show of real estate, but I see that you've got a book. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
That's such a feat as well too. That's amazing. It's called Lean Out, and I'm sure it has so much of your experience and your story tied into this, everything that we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So the book is go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it definitely ties my story in with actually other women professionals. I do profile other people in the book too. And then the beginning is a refutation of the book Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. And are we happier with that lean in culture than we were? I would argue that we're not healthier and we're not happier. And I even talk about the epidemic of infertility among women professionals in the beginning of the book. And that is one of the only books that addresses that issue. It's becoming a huge problem. It's double the rate in women professionals, physicians, and lawyers than it is in the general population.
Oh, wow.
And then the second half of the book empowers you to find your own lean out journey. And that's really the part that's applicable to both men and women, even though the book has a byline of a professional women's guide to finding authentic work-life balance. Those exercises and the information of how you can find your own work-life balance are applicable to men and women.
Are the top 3 things that the listener should do in order to take their perspective towards Lean Out?
Okay. Well, I think just echoing on what you said, first of all, it is something that you have in your control to do, but it takes work. There are a lot of simple practices that you can do, but simple doesn't mean easy. Simple means you still have to put in time and effort in order to do them. And so the first thing I would say is to learn more about yourself. And what I mean by that is that a lot of us, when we're in that lean in culture, we're in the hustle culture, and we're go, 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 and we're so busy, we forget who we are. We forget what we like. We forget things about our personality, like how you gain energy and how energy is drained from you. And taking some time to think about those things. I have in my book referenced some personality tests, which sounds totally woo-woo, but I picked the very practical, easy, not super long, not super woo personality tests. Doing those kind of things can be really helpful to learn a little bit more about your nature or rediscover yourself. And then one of the other things is to cultivate some sort of stillness practice in your life so that you can have some time in your days where your brain is not always churning, so that you can have that pause and have some time to slow down. Because when you do slow down a little bit, that is when you're able to realize, like, hey, you know what? I'm actually not happy doing this particular job, or I need to change my schedule around because this particular thing that I'm doing is completely draining me, whatever it is, taking call as a physician, or, seeing a certain type of patient. I know a surgeon, he is retired now, but he talks a lot in his coaching practice and in his books, 𝗘𝗀𝗃𝗃, about like what brings you joy and what really just like do you hate, and how can you get that hate part out, even if it's something that seems like you can't get it out of your life, like, doing a particular kind of surgery. You think that's sacrilege if I am a general surgeon and I just say, like, from now on I'm not going to do these vascular cases or something like that. But that's not true. You can do that. You can tailor what you're doing, on a daily basis. And then the other thing is, a lot of people that come to me for coaching, this is my third recommendation, they are in a state where they don't feel competent to ask for what they want. There's a problem of not knowing what you want, and the mindfulness and the self-knowledge part is what can help you with that. But having the confidence to go against what other people are doing and maybe disappoint some people, ask for something different that's not on the menu of your workplace, whatever that might be, like doing a different schedule, cutting back on your time, something like that, not seeing a certain type of client. Having that confidence is cultivated by doing everyday challenging things. And what I mean by that is trying something new, taking a new class, learning a new skill, things that you haven't done for a while because maybe you were in school and you were just pushing for so long to hone and master whatever your profession is now. But take a minute and just go do an art class or something different. And those kind of things over time, learning a new exercise, strengthening your body in a new way, accepting challenge can really help you to cultivate some confidence to use at other times when you want to change your work-life balance.
So if there are any listeners out there right now who are currently pregnant and striving for this ability to lean out, if you could go back 10 years and tell them something based off of your experience and your knowledge from today, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think the thing I would tell people to do in the most urgent manner would be to figure out your values, if you haven't already done that. And this gets to what we were talking about with self-knowledge, but we never really mentioned the term values. But your values, your personal values, will serve as the guidepost for how you should make your decisions. And so, for instance, you're pregnant, or maybe you just had your baby and you're really wanting to go part-time, but you're worried about allegiance to your patients or your clients. You're worried about what your boss is going to think. You're new, so you're only a couple years in. And I mean, I've had coaching clients just like this actually recently, and they don't want to ask. Well, think about what is most important to you. Is your job more important than your family? Or is your family more important than your job? What parts of your life are really pulling at your heartstrings? What kind of virtues do you want to model for your children? Those are the things that you should focus on, and that's how you should make your decisions. And in the end, those matter a lot more than what someone at work thinks of you.